Miraculous Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joy, and we believe in empowering people through storytelling and education. If you didn't check out last week's episode, make sure you go back and do that. I had on Dominica from Dog Meets Baby, and it was so interesting. So whether you have a dog and you're planning a family, or you want one day, or you already have kids, there's so much great information in there that she gives us, and she has some amazing free resources on her website. So definitely check those out. I know that we have some work to do with Hutch before baby number 2 arrives. He's great with Jovi. They get along really great. But there's a few things that we're like, oh, well, we should probably work on this because, you know, like last week I was saying, since she throws her food on the floor, now he started begging for food, which he never did before. But now he's like, hey, I know what's up there. And if I wait long enough, I'll get some. Or if I beg for it, maybe I'll get some. So just different things that we'd like to work on with him. So make sure you go and check that out. If you're listening, make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast to stay up to date on any changes that we are going to be making. Still in the rebranding process, still figuring that out. So make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date and to get notified every time a new episode comes out. Also, reach out to me. Let me know who you want to have on the podcast, what topics you want to have on, and I will do my best to make that happen. Today, I'm excited about our guests. I have on Lita and Destiny, who are the founders of Red and Olive Co. And the reason that I wanted to have them on is because it's so cool to hear from moms who have started businesses that empower other people. And that's kind of what this episode is about. So they started this awesome company, but they wanted to do it ethically. They wanted to do it in a way that that was more than just about selling products. It's a conversation with your kids. It's helping your kids learn how to be a conscious consumer and teaching them like really great values. So it was really, really great talking with them, and I'm excited for you guys to hear the episode. Make sure that you guys are following us on Instagram and joining our Facebook group where we have a lot more conversations, and enjoy the interview. All right, everyone, I have Lita and Destiny here, and I'm super excited to have this conversation with them. They are from Red and Olive Co., and they are mamas, and they have a passion to empower women and children around the world through intentional play, which is just such a cool concept and idea. And I feel like there's so much purpose behind it and so much that goes into it. And we're going to hear from them today about how they started this and what brought them to start this company. And I feel like as moms, we're always, I was telling them before we get on the podcast, we're always sold so many new things for our kids, right? You need this toy, you need that toy, you whatever. And my daughter recently just had a birthday party, and I'm like, she loves the gift bags that the toys came in. Mm-hmm. And then she has like 2 dolls that she's just carrying around with her, and those are her favorite things. So we definitely do have some over consumerism happening here as well. So I just love their whole concept and what brought them to where they are today. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast and being here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be chatting with you today.
Yeah. So I'd love for you just to start out by telling us who you are, what is Red and Olive Co., and why did you start it?
So I'm Destiny. I am actually Lita's stepdaughter. So this is Lita.
Hi, everybody.
And so we definitely have a unique story, just even in the fact that we are related. So we are Red and Olive, and Red and Olive is a fair trade company. We make these dolls and hand knitted accessories for your children. And we are designed in California. We make our dolls in Peru by Peruvian artisans. And these dolls and accessories are actually, our intention behind them is to create this imaginative play. I know from watching my children and Lita watching her grandchildren, my kids love to become their toy. And I just felt like it was so important for my kids' development and everything that they really immerse themselves, especially in those early years, in that imaginative play. So, we started just kind of organically, actually. As a company, Lita has many years of design background, and I do as well. And
we both come from freedom. I mean, me before her, though.
A little bit before.
Yes, exactly. So I work in the garment industry all my life, and at 50, the opportunity came to us where we wanted to create something done in our country, Peru. I mean, like our heritage country. I was born in Peru. Destiny was born here, but her dad is Peruvian, so is her mother. And we always travel to Peru back and forth, and we always love the artisans, what they made over there, and we love the craft and abilities that they have. And I started one day just drawing and playing with, ideas, and Destiny started commenting on the ideas like, oh, we should do this and we should do that, and let's do it this way. And then we realized that we had something, that it could be interesting and be done nicely. And my grandkids were the initial inspiration for these dolls. And that's how we started. I mean, very organically, not really going, hey, let's go and do business together. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was something that we always had in our hearts. Like I always loved design, obviously, and I always wanted to do something on my own. And so is Destiny.
Right. And I wanted to do a kids line always. Yes.
And the connection to us is obviously my husband, her dad. And he is the one who has many connections all over the world, actually, and many in Peru. Right. And through those connections, we were able to become who we are right now and create and make it happen. Create something, just starting drawing it and making it happen.
Right.
Making it real.
Yeah, that's so cool. I so I've traveled a lot, and the first country I ever went to was Peru.
Oh, really?
And I loved it. I would love to go back. And I have a couple of things still from there. Actually, one of the blankets behind me, it's an alpaca blanket that I got there. And then I just had such a really cool experience there. Awesome. I was there with a team, and we were just doing some work in a community, and I don't even know if I can tell this story because I'll cry, but this guy came up to me after we were doing some work, and he put this thing around my neck, and it's this little pouch that was hand knit, and he was I want you to keep this so that Peru is always close to your heart.
Oh my goodness.
I'm emotional thinking about it. I haven't thought about that in a long time. That was 16, 17 years ago. And it was just such a beautiful experience. And it was my first taste of I grew up in a small town in Nebraska. So this is my first experience of another culture and people and food and just everything. And it was so amazing.
How did you love the food?
I don't remember it that much. I remember I tasted a lot of weird things. I had guinea pig and I had alpaca.
Okay, so you did the full cultural experience there.
Yeah. And I ended up actually getting really bad altitude sickness.
Oh yeah, in Cusco.
Yes.
It happens.
Cusco's so amazing.
Yes.
It was not good. Besides that,
supposed to give you teas, the
leaves,
the leaves tea and the
coca leaves
tea. And there's
little tricks. There's little tricks. My grandma always said to take the altitude medicine as soon as the plane takes off because it's quick. It's flying, 30 minutes and that's it, right? So it's you go up and then you're coming down already. So we always take our medicine then and then.
Yeah.
And then when we get there, the first thing we do is drink our tea and just do absolutely nothing that day. That day is kind of a wash just to relax and get, acclimated to the altitude.
Yeah.
Because actually Cusco is a higher elevation than the mountain.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Yeah. I just remember it it was just so awesome. It was so beautiful and cool. And that's what sparked my interest in like traveling and my love for wanting to experience other cultures. And I feel like that's also then part of the reason why I'm big on conscious consumerism and trying to find companies that are ethical, just because you see how people around the world live and you realize the excess that we have here, and how it's just completely unnecessary. So yeah, I mean, that trip sparked a lot of different things for me. We are going to take a break from this episode so I can share with you one of my favorite new brands to partner with, and that is Dadgrass. And you can go to dadgrass.com/mamas to get 20% off your first order. But let me tell you a little bit about them. Dadgrass is legal, organic, smokable hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. Their 100% organic pre-rolled joints are very low in THC and high in CBD, so you can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. You can chill out without getting stoned, and it's like having a glass of wine, but not the whole bottle. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 21 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. So whether you're looking for a way to chill and enjoy your favorite shows at the end of the day, Dadgrass will leave you in a euphoric mood. Since I am pregnant, I have not tried it yet, but Vito has, and he's actually really enjoyed it. He's never really been big on CBD or THC, either one. And then we received the product and he's like, you know what, I'm going to try it out. And he's really enjoyed it. It's helped him kind of relax at the end of the day and just kind of mellow out before going to bed. And it's not just for dads, guys. It's for moms too. They have mom grass as well. So make sure that you check them out. And Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/mamas. Go to dadgrass.com/mamas for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/mamas. Are your toys made? Are the dolls made there? They're made in California.
No,
they're made in Peru.
Completely made in Peru.
Completely hand knit in Peru by these artisans. And, you know, it's wonderful that you've got to taste a little bit of the type of people that Peruvians are. I mean, I think that's my favorite part is just hearing their stories, seeing the love and attention that they put into every doll. It's amazing. And every time we go there, it's, you know, it speaks to our hearts. Mm-hmm. I mean, we really connect with these people and, you know, every doll is really made with love. Mm-hmm. Completely, like from the design concept, from us, from, you know, we work really close hand in hand with the people who knit our products. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we see their families, you know, we see where they live. You know, the whole thing from purchasing the yarn and getting it, you know, dyed to the right colors to watching them get hand knit and then they get stuffed and, you know, then the little facial details are the last thing. And so that whole process, we know, you know, all of the people who are involved in that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're very intentional about making sure that our business is honest. Our business is, you know, ethical. The conditions that these people are knitting the dolls in are nice and good. You know, obviously you have to remember that it is a third world country. So things do look different. Their reality is different than ours. But, you know, they really take pride, you know, in making these dolls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So what can kids learn from ethically made toys? And how can that kind of teach them about social responsibility and conscious consumerism?
So one, I mean, I think it starts with the mom, right? So who purchases these dolls and these accessories is the mom. It just starts at home. I think that's what we always talk about is there's a generational responsibility, right? So it starts with the mom purchasing these toys and then, you know, you can let your child chew on the ear, like eat the toy because it is made well. It is good. It is going to last. It's safe. And then I think for those, early stages of talking, it really, they're not going to realize that what their doll means, right? But they're going to be able to start communicating with their doll. They're going to use it as a security blanket. You could sleep with it and then put it in the bed with them. Because one, you feel safe sleeping with it. And then, it smells like you, it holds the scent. And then, as they get older, as they're able to talk and communicate, I just think it's such a good example, for your children to see that, hey, there's people, they're not going to understand, but the more you talk about it, the more it will become a part of them. But there are people who don't have things or who live in different areas of the world, and, they made this just for you. It's not like we're mass produced. It's not like we don't know who's doing it, or we have other people who are in charge, of the people that we have knitting these dolls. It's like, we know them and they made this just for you. And that allows them to eat, to have electricity, to send their kids to school, to have a better future for them. It essentially changes, their kids' futures by having this kind of work coming in for them, and so it really affects them. So I think just by telling them the story and just, that's something obviously, we want to grow one day, and we want to be able to do more and tell these stories and create, like children's books that explains in like an easy way for children to understand, just the process, because everybody's different. Everybody has a role.
It's teaching them the value of what's behind the doll, the people behind it, what it means to them to make that for you. And it's teaching them all that. It's super important because, like you said, we live in a world of consumerism, and we really don't appreciate, the easiness of getting things. Yeah. But these dolls, who are they made by, what it means to them. Having this job, to be able to produce and to share the value of their heritage, because these are these knitters they pass through generations on teaching them how to knit. It's families together, the mother, the father, the daughter. Grown-ups, okay, grown-ups, no kids, not kids, but they actually teach their their family knitting. They do teach their kids to knit, but that's how. I was talking to one of my knitters the other day, and I asked her, what is it? When did you start doing this? And she goes, oh my God, I was born in this. I was, my father is a knitter. My mom is a knitter. My brothers are knitters. I was born in this. I love what I do. And I want to teach other people to do the same. She wants to teach other people. And we're part of that, and we love that.
Yeah. And another thing too, because they are a bit pricier, and we know that, right? But it is because we are fair trade, and we're trying to do good, for the world, for, empowering people, and just for, everyone in that. So it teaches, your children the value of saving, the value of spending, your money in a place where it does good for others, saving your money, spending it on quality. Yeah, sometimes there is a fastness or an easiness to things that are made cheaper. But who does it harm in the long run? And, for us, those positive values and kindness and empowerment, and that's super important to us, and to just not only for our children, but even in the industry. I know Lita has many years in working in the fashion industry, and, just changing. And it just starts one person at a time, one business at a time, to just really make that a value, a way of life, because I think it's possible. I think everybody should be fair trade, and everybody should be conscious about where their products come from. It's very important.
Yes.
And I love that you talk about how just kind of having those conversations with your kids when they're young, because it's something that I never even thought about till I was older. because we are so used to, I mean, you can go anywhere and just buy whatever clothes you want. And that convenience and the fastness, it does come at a price. And maybe it's cheaper clothing or toys, but it's the quality, what it's used like, or what it's made with. And then also who's making it. There's a lot of things that go into it it's awesome that you guys have a business where you're so connected to the employees, that you're having these conversations with your knitters, that you see the impact of the community, of the lives of the families that it's helping, and that trickles down the line. So it's so awesome to have a business like that you are making a difference and you do care and you are teaching lessons along the way. So that's so amazing. Good for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Take a moment to answer this question. How are you feeling today? And if the answer is anything less than great, it's time to learn more and demand better for your body. Take control of your health and well-being with an at-home lab test from Everlywell. Everlywell offers affordable at-home lab tests that give you trusted physician-reviewed results. Choose from tests including food sensitivity, metabolism, sleep and wellness, thyroid, and they have so much more. Here's how it works. Everlywell ships your test straight to your door with everything needed for a simple sample collection, and then you return it to the CLIA certified lab with a prepaid shipping label. Then your physician-reviewed results and insights are sent to your device in just days. I know so many people that have used them for lots of different tests, whether it's, you can even test your sperm, your heavy metal, so many different things on there. And for listeners right now of this show, Everlywell is offering a special discount code of 20% off an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/mamas. That's everlywell.com/mamas for 20% off your at-home lab test. everlywell.com/mamas. Now back to the episode. How I feel like whenever you think about like starting a business or, I mean, so many people have so many amazing ideas. It just sounds like so much work. Like, where do you even, I know you said that you had like different connections and stuff, but even just finding like the ethically sourced stuff and just, I feel like it's hard to actually put ideas into action and see, oh, this is what came out of it. So how did that look like? What was that process kind of for you guys of actually taking the steps? And like, was it a long process trying to build up this business?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been years in like thoughts and creativity and
well, and as we said, it started organically, right?
Yes.
So really, we had just become stepmom and stepdaughter.
Yeah, I've been married to my husband for 5 years now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but when we started, that was new. And so we had such a great relationship that it was definitely a thought to take that next step into becoming not only step parent and daughter, but to becoming business partners. Since our relationship was so fresh, we just had a lot to think about as far as doing that together. Mm-hmm. But because nothing was ever forced, and again, it probably would have started a lot faster if we knew that we were going to do this from the beginning. We just had our own dreams and they just aligned. And so then what happened is once we knew, we were going to take this step, our next step was to find this, just a place, either a factory or actually, going to the knitters. And so we did. Luckily, we have, we travel to Peru quite often to visit family, all of our families out there. And so does my dad. And so through that, we kind of already had that kind of relationship established. Peru's not so, Lima is not that big to where it is big, but it's, everybody kind of knows of somebody, right? And so...
And it helped that I work in the industry of making things
production
for the past 30 years of my life. So from development to design to production to, everything. So for me, it's particularly, it was easy in a way. You know, once you have the connections, it's really an easy process.
Right.
But you know, it's an easy process in the design area.
Well, I think, look, to have tangible steps, basically
Yes.
what we did is we had an idea. We drew out the idea. It was not like necessarily beautiful in exactly how it was going to be. It was just, we drew it. And then, you know, we looked for the people, you know, to make the product. And then we had to think of, okay, what is actually the inches and the length and everything about it. So we had somebody, you know, do our illustrations on the computer. And then honestly, the biggest advice I would give is, number one, having a partner that's better than you at something. And I think that's where we complement each other. Like, I am better at certain things than she is, and she is better than me. And so then that way there's like, for us, there's never been a competition in that. It's almost like, no, this is what you're great at. You excel and you do so well at that. Thrive, go. And this is what I do. And then the things that we don't, we come together and try and figure it out together and take steps. It's a lot of asking other people, other friends who have started. It's a lot of mistakes. It's a lot. And that's where honestly we learn the most, you know, and it's a lot of time. It takes a lot of time from, you know, it's a sacrifice you're going to have to want to make. So that's why the fact that it happened so naturally was the best part, because it is hard. Like, you know, definitely there's no such thing, I feel like, as a work-life balance. I think you just, one suffers that day because of the other. And that's okay, because, you know, I want to make sure that my kids see me thriving and happy and doing what I love. And that includes them. So it's not like one or the other. And so I just, you know, when I can't, Lita picks up the slack. You know, when she can't, I pick up the slack. And so giving ourselves that grace and giving ourselves the time to do things, I think is what really has helped us. And also just keep going. Nobody succeeds the first time. And nobody is successful, you know, if they don't, like, when they don't go through struggles. You have to go through those struggles. They make you stronger. They help you grow, you know, and it's ultimately led us to where we are now.
There will be little mountains and big mountains that you need to climb.
Yes.
And once you climb it and you go through the next and you go, oh my God, we did that. We can keep going. We can do it. We can do it.
Yes.
You know,
celebrate the wins, all of them. And honestly, celebrate the lows, because
so
they teach you. They teach you. Honestly, everything is a learning moment. You just have to keep going. Else you'll never know.
Yes, for sure. You will never know if you can do it if you don't start doing it. So we did. Oh, shoot. We started.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of the biggest advice that I hear from people. And it's so true and good. Like, nobody succeeds the first time. I feel like that's like super important. Like, when anybody who's super successful didn't just one day have this super successful business. They worked really hard. They made a lot of mistakes and they learned. And they continued on. They didn't give up. They just kept going. And I feel like that's kind of what makes the difference. Like, I don't know if I have what it takes. There's so many times where I'm like, I'm going to do this thing. And I'm like, I barely try. And I'm like, that was really hard. I don't know if I'm going to.
We just have to start. You have to take the first step forward.
Yes.
But then you have to keep stepping. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to take this step. And then they're like, wait, this is scary. Oh, I messed up. Oh, I made this mistake. Oh, this is going to be a lot of work. And that's kind of where people are like, okay.
The most important thing is not doing it by yourself.
I was just going to say
your community.
Exactly. And
whatever that means.
To start with a partner, and then you build a community of people. We have a little team here in LA, and then we have a team in Peru, obviously. Yeah. And honestly, like, I feel the love. I do feel the love from the people here, and that it gives us a sense of also responsibility. that we want to succeed.
That it's not just us.
Yes, it's just not us. It's more than just us.
Right. And we wouldn't be here without them. Mm-hmm. Like, again, if we didn't know how to do something, which we are designers. We are not, we never were people who have run a business or have run marketing or a website or, PR or,
we're learning.
We've never, that's not been our strength, right? We did other things. So we just found people that connected us, to the right somehow. I don't know. We have been very blessed to be connected with some wonderful people who have kept us accountable and who, we've felt a responsibility because, they work for us and, everything that we do goes back into our business, but not, it's
a dream to us to see them grow with us and become,
And that's the other thing is to lift up the people around you, help them also achieve their dreams. And that's kind of the full circle is we want the people who work with us to be bigger than us, to be better than us. And then we want the people in Peru to be bigger, to fulfill whatever dream that they have. Mm-hmm. And to achieve those things. So it's like we are the cheerleaders, we have just a really great team that have just outdone themselves, honestly.
Sure. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's such a beautiful mentality. And I feel like that's the way that you do succeed. I mean, you see all those different quotes where it's like you succeeding isn't pushing other people down. It's you lifting other people up with you.
Exactly.
And I feel like when you're doing that, you do have that community, you do have that support, and you're more likely to succeed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Versus climbing on top of other people or being like, nope, I don't want you to go past this limit or whatever it is.
And we don't want to hold people to just us, this is our dream. This is not everybody else's dream. We can be a stepping stone for some people. And that's great. I really don't mind that. I just think, and that's kind of our heart. So we just really want to make sure that we're always giving that, we give our time. We also do we are fair trade and we are an ethical brand, so we do give to those people in Peru. But we also give here locally because, and globally sometimes, depending on if there's crises and stuff, we will donate to them as well. So it's just, children are our future. So we donate to various children's nonprofits because it's just really important that what we have, it goes beyond us. Putting positivity and kindness and good things in the world, I feel like you will get that in return, and we want that. We want to live that kind of life.
Yeah.
And so for us, the heart of our whole company is just giving joy, giving play, giving not only the children joy. And that's the cool thing is you give this gift, you give this doll, and you're not only giving joy to the child that you've given that doll to, you're giving joy to the people who are making the doll, and to the people receiving the donation, so we love that.
Yeah, that's amazing. You all know I'm a big fan of taking control of your mental health, and being a mom, I've realized that it is so important to make sure that you have an outlet that you can express the things that you're going through, maybe somebody outside of the family, which is why I love BetterHelp, because they will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You get to connect in a safe and private online environment, and it's just so convenient. They will help you, whether you have depression, stress, anxiety, struggling with relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, grief, self-esteem. So many different things come up at different times in our life, and it's important to find a way to work through them. Everything that you share is confidential, convenient, professional, affordable. And in fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Right now, you can join over the 1 million people taking charge of their mental health by going to betterhelp.com/mamas. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/mamas. For people listening, if they don't know what fair trade is, can you tell us what that means?
Yes. So fair trade is where we make sure that all of the process, all of, everything that goes into making our doll is done ethically, so that they get paid the appropriate amount fairly for what they're doing. They don't get like this, crazy, you make like a penny for, all these dolls. It's like, no, you make for each doll that you do, you make a wage. And then that also that the location is healthy environment, is a good environment, is clean. Nobody's being treated poorly in the areas, they're all...
No child labor.
Right, no children, all those things that just you would think of, like, that you would assume. I mean, I would assume that my products are made of aren't necessarily, the case, So so that's why we have people who go make sure that, periodically, that while we're not in Peru, that things are, done well, and that they are done with the rules that, and regulations that, consider fair trade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I have the conversations, I guess. Destiny, how old are your kids?
So my kids are 3 and 5, about to be 4 and 6.
Oh, how fun. So what have the conversations with them kind of been like as you've been doing this business?
Well, in regards to what, we've had so many conversations. So my son is Reed. Mm-hmm. One of the dolls is Stinky Reed.
The skunk?
Because he's a skunk, so, stinky, right? But my son was also 2 when we started, when we started originally designing. And my son has very sleepy eyes, and so that's why the skunk has sleepy eyes. And he was a stinker, that's for sure. And he would stick out his tongue at us. And so that's why the bear has his tongue sticking out. And then my daughter was born super bald. So, that's why the bow and the accessories, so there's a reason. So they know that these dolls were designed to kind of, emulate their spirit. And that's kind of how we make all of our dolls. They emulate just
children's spirits.
Yes.
What they're going through, and some fashionable little details.
Yes.
Because I come from the fashion. So
yes, has to be a little fashion, right? But so they know that part, that aspect of it. But they have been with me to Peru. I mean, they've been to the factory, where things get final touches, they've been, they haven't been with me to the knitters' homes, just because they're crazy and it's just chaos. And sometimes there's not a lot of, space and stuff for everybody to go. Right. But they've been there and they've seen it. And so, we just make sure that we always are talking about, we always talk about the people. And that they live, we just say some people have big houses, some people have small houses, some people don't have houses, so we kind of try and make it very, very appropriate for their age, right? And I answer all the questions that they have, which they have a lot, but we make it age appropriate and simple. Just because their little brains think about those things. Oh, how come, they all share a room? How come, they don't have separate rooms? And you're just well, because they live in a different area. They don't have as much money as other people do. And so, this is why, they look at how hard they're working and, they're doing the best that they can and they're happy. this is where I was like, wouldn't it be cool to have a sleepover with mommy? You know, like not making it a bad thing, because it's not bad. Everybody has different circumstances and reasons, and just because they were born in certain areas, right? It has nothing to do with anything else besides just where you were just naturally born. Mm-hmm. And so it's just really important that we're always educating our kids, because educating them on other people and having them ask questions is really important. I think it helps them be kinder and, just more conscious of others. And that's what the world's like really about, right? Is just being kind, being otherly, and also being strong and confident in what your own background is, right? It's not all the same, and showing them that hard work, you can achieve anything, I think it's all good, good for their little minds to just start thinking. And that's what creates a generation that thinks that way,
Yeah. I love how you were talking earlier about using your pieces as conversation starters with kids, of where it was made, the people there, and even, like you said, kind of like saving your money for it, or whatever it may be. I think that that's such a good idea. And I feel like sometimes as parents, we miss out on a lot of those opportunities to have those conversations with our kids, because parenting can be tiring and it can be hard, and it's like, here, go play with this, whatever. But
I feel bad when Lita has sleepovers with my kids for
they don't let us sleep
1 or 2 nights, because I'm like, oh my gosh, they must be exhausted, because it's really hard. Obviously grateful that we have people that like allow us to do the sleepover thing, right? But it's hard and it takes a village. It really does. Parenting is such a roller coaster.
Right. But having those conversations as their kids does create that mindset, that mentality starting, because then who knows, like the next toy that somebody gives them, they might be like, oh, who made this? Where's this from?
Right.
And, it might spark then different conversations about where things come from, and stuff like that. So I think that's such an awesome idea. Do either of you guys have a favorite piece of your collection?
I honestly love them all, but if I have to say from the classic collection, which is the first dolls that we made.
I know that's hard, because the new bunny is like gorgeous.
Oh my God! Well, the new bunny is inspired by my daughter. Yeah. Nicole, she's almost 23 now. Yeah. But it's inspired by a photo of her when she was little. And that's how her name is Nikki Bunny, because my daughter's name is Nicole.
Yeah.
And I have to say, oh my gosh, her.
But from the classic, sorry.
The very classic is Mr. Berry with the tongue out. I really enjoy it. And I made 100 dolls that are with the tongue out. And
she actually made all of them with the tongue out. All of them. And a very tiny mouth. And I was like, they can't all be tiny mouths with the tongue out.
Because I love that.
We like, each one of them is a bit different. And that's like the whole thing too. Like we want every doll to be like a little bit different than the last. Just because everybody is different. So everybody connects to a different doll. And we like that. We like that everything has an essence, and people just like, oh my gosh, I'm so, sassy Cassie, I'm the cat, or I love ballet.
People do feel connected to the dolls in a way. I mean, even grown-ups because we
do have grown-ups buying our dolls. It's so funny.
Because they're like very soothing. Yeah. Okay. And they do feel connected with the sassy Cassie. Usually it's people who love, obviously, cats. Yeah. Or the dress up of the sassy Cassie. So, and the ballerina is inspired by Olivia, who is my granddaughter, and she loves ballet so much. Like she won't stop like twirling all the time and wearing her ballet dresses. And I just love them all, honestly.
Yeah. My favorite's probably Stinky Rain, just because of the eyes. I love the eyes. It's just, those are my son's eyes. So I love him.
Yeah. It sounds like there was just a lot of inspiration behind all of these.
There's a lot of inspiration that has not become real yet.
Yes. So definitely designs are not lacking. We are
Constantly.
We probably have enough designs for like the next 3 years.
Yep.
Perfect. Keep them
I
going.
know, right? It's crazy. And it's just all about timing, right? And getting them developed. But it takes a long time to develop these things. You know, we've had designs in Peru for the last 2 years, and we're barely rolling them out now. I mean, obviously COVID, I think, had a huge part to play in that aspect, but
right. And probably seeing like how your design translates to a knitted doll.
Yes.
You know, it might not be, okay, that's not really what I envisioned.
Paper can hold it up really good. But when it comes to the real, but you know what? They are very gifted people.
Extremely.
They can honestly translate it so well that usually we approve from the
we have a synergy now with the women and men in Peru. We have a synergy. They get it. They get us. We've worked enough now where they
get the dimensions of like where the eye's supposed to be, and you know when it comes to knitting, they have to make a very specific diagram to count all the it's not stitches because it's not sewing, but what's it called, the knitting.
Yeah, stitches. I think it's stitches, the knitting.
So, and they have to make it into a diagram that you wouldn't know that that's a doll when you see it on paper. But that's counting exactly where the eye's supposed to be.
It's like graph paper, but for for each.
So for them to translate it into a piece of paper like that and make it when it's real, like just like you're drawing pretty much, it's amazing.
Yeah, very talented.
Yeah, very talented.
I know. I'm like, I wish I was more crafty. I always even like do-it-yourself projects on Pinterest. I'm like, I would love to reupholster this bench that we have. And I'm like, that sounds like so much work. I don't know how to do it.
Furniture piece, like make it super cool.
Mm-hmm.
My sister does that, actually. I have a sister who does refurbishing of furniture, and she's really amazing.
Wow. Yeah. Does she want to come over to my house? We have a lot. But that's so awesome. I love your guys' mission, the vision, and just the conversations that you're sparking for kids, and kind of not just taking, a fair trade ethical business, but just taking it into the home and having it be conversation piece and teaching your kid these values and lessons as they're young. So that's so amazing. I want to thank you guys so much for coming on today and sharing your time and your energy. And where can people find your dolls? Where can they, or your pieces? It's not just dolls, and follow along with what you're doing.
So they can find us on our website, which is redandoliveco.com. They can also find us at Instagram, and it's redandoliveco.com. And that's it, right? Yeah.
Pinterest. Yeah.
Yes, we have a couple.
Our
Pinterest. Well, we have a couple articles that just came out, which is really exciting. That will connect you to our website. Sure. We've had some BuzzFeed, and we had a little article in Us Weekly. Yeah. So we have a couple things coming out, which we're so excited about. That it's just mind blowing. Again, we're just like, this is wild. This is beyond, being on your podcast. This is, beyond the dream. Right. So, we are just really happy that there are different places that you can find us now, and that we're growing. And, thank you. Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And easy. You made it really easy for us, seriously.
Very welcoming.
I always get nervous, but you're great.
I get so nervous. I don't get as much nervous like podcasting now, but if I ever go on anybody else's, I usually call my husband. I'm like, you need to pep talk me right now because I'm nervous.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I know. I get nervous like the last minute. Lita's like comes over and she's like, okay, like, oh. And I'm like, we got this. It's so great to have one another, because it's
right.
Like,
I'm a little shy on camera and stuff.
I am too, but but somehow.
Right. Well, I think it helps that you guys are doing something that you're passionate about, right? So you just get to talk about your business and how you've built it and what you're passionate about and what it means to you. And so, it flows naturally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. like I said, I just really enjoy talking to people like Destiny and Lita. First of all, they're super inspiring because I know that starting a business is really hard and you just have to like keep working toward it. Like, thankfully they had some background in the designer and all of that. So they had some steps already ahead, but I love how they just share their heart for what they're doing. And again, about being ethical and conscious in the way that they are making their products. And I would love to gift one of the listeners one of their products. So if you're listening and you would like to win one of the dolls or one of the other products from their company, Red and Olive Co., make sure that you share this episode to your social media page, or not page, to your story, to your Instagram story, and then screenshot it and send me a DM, and you will be entered into the drawing. I love, if you go on their site, they have such pretty products, and I know that they shared with us which ones were their favorites and kind of what inspired them for different ones. How the one skunk has Destiny's son's eyes. That's just so cute. So make sure that you go check them out. It's not only like just for yourself, but also if you have a friend who is having a baby shower or just had a baby, it's such a great gift because, again, it gives back to the Peruvian community, and you know that each piece is just really being made with love, which is just awesome to know. All right. Make sure that you guys are staying tuned the rest of the month. We have some really great guests coming on. I'm really excited for what we have in store. I've already recorded a few, and just trying to book people and make sure that you guys are getting content that you want. So again, send me people that you want to hear from, and I will do my best to make that happen. All right. Love you guys. Bye.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing while you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. And then we cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy podcast on your podcast app.